everyone to Mount Manitoba, the home of NotInHallOfFame.com, and I'm your host, Kirk Buchner. And along with Evan Nolan, we run NotInHallOfFame.com, the fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame, the fictitious Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and the United States Athletic Hall of Fame. Check that out right now. Or maybe not right now. Or you could. You could pause this and then go to it right now. www.notinhallofFame.com/USA. All of you are going to be voters. It's actual democracy in action. Corey Dillon may not like this, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But you were all part of history where we're going to decide who is going to become the first ever class of the United States Athletic Hall of Fame. We run it, we trademarked it, we own it, we love it.
I agree.
There you go. Actually, so Corey Dillon, since I just sort of like brought that up, I messaged you earlier today because we didn't do it last week. I was zonked, and there wasn't that much to talk about anyway for a Hall of Fame related podcast.
And then I was in Iowa.
And then you were in Iowa, yes. And did you build it, and did they come?
A gentleman never tells.
Oh, okay. But yeah, Corey Dillon made a bit of news today in an article in The Athletic. I didn't know they had any staff left.
I don't know who has fewer staff than or ESPN at this point. ESPN, like Friday for left, it's just like mass layoffs, and somehow they decided that keeping Kendrick Perkins over Derrick Rose not Jalen Rose, was a good idea. So.
I'm not a huge fan of Jalen myself, but at least he brings some actual analysis to the table.
Yeah,
I don't know. Well,
Kendrick just says stuff.
Well, he's probably making 1/10 of what Jalen is.
Well, that's the real reason. That's the real reason a lot of these guys will let go.
Van Gundy was the big surprise for me.
Van Gundy was a big surprise, but like Susie Colbert was let go because they thought Mina Kimes could do her job, right? Like there's a whole bunch of situations like that where people were let go because they thought they had somebody else, but not everybody who's else is underneath them is the way to go. So
yeah, that's very true.
That's by the way, I'm not citing Mina Kimes, who I actually enjoy. I'm just saying that's like one of there are several
that's an example. And like if you are doing cost cutting, and I watched that before in a company I used to work for, and they whacked a whole ton of people like right at the top, like people who bled that company, just never saw it coming.
Yep.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Corey Dillon made a bit of news today in that article in The Athletic, where he said that I guess the first low hanging fruit was that he believes that he's got the stats to be a Pro Football Hall of Famer. You're on the list, the football list, but I don't know that I don't think that he is personally.
I mean, I think both you and I are lukewarm at best on Fred Taylor as a candidate.
I'm not even lukewarm on Fred Taylor as a candidate.
I was trying to be diplomatic. I'm higher on Fred Taylor's candidate than you are, and I'm still lukewarm on him.
Yeah.
And Fred Taylor is a significantly better candidate than Corey Dillon. And Corey Dillon helped my team win a championship. So
in his best year in football.
Actually. Yeah. It was weird because, like I said, when we got Corey Dillon, that was one of those trades I made in Madden all the time.
Oh, really?
Like, you could always trade for Corey Dillon from the Bengals if you're the Patriots, because the Patriots have the lowest ever career rushing total leader in the NFL by far. It's not even close. Our top rushing leader's got like 5,200 yards.
Dylan's single season, or that 1,600 he did, is that a season record for New England?
It might be. Yeah. I actually don't know. I'll look that up while you're talking.
Okay, so that's. But the real thing that was very, very fascinating, made me chuckle, a rare moment where I actually did LOL. I did laugh out loud.
It is a record.
It is a record. Okay, yeah.
1635.
Thought it might be. So is when Dillon said about the Bengals Ring of Honor, and I know I read this, but I guess I forgot that it's completely fan driven, or it's actually only those who have season tickets, or I guess with the luxury boxes. So one of his comments was, They're clever that way. That way, they can sort of like they can say it's not their fault. I'm paraphrasing.
Mhm.
It's not quite what he said, but I don't know. It's I kind of like the whole fan driven thing, obviously, because
Right.
of what we've created. But I mean, like there is a bit of point there. I don't know that they created that in mind, thinking, all right, how can we sort of take the shot, take the blame off of us for not putting in Corey Dillon.
Well, here's the other thing. So point out, hasn't the fans only been able to vote for 2 years at this point?
Yes. So
Like, calm down.
yeah, there's another exactly. Well, this is not going to help him, I suppose. I don't know if they voted yet,
No.
because that's coming up in a month. So it'll be sort of interesting to see what they do. Dillon then went on to say that it's basically it's criminal that he's not that it's not there, and that his work spoke for itself. And Dillon, based, I can't. I think he does have the numbers for it. For Ring of
I
Honor.
mean, certainly for the Bengals Hall of Fame, there's no question on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, and no offense again to the Bengals. That overall, that's a fairly low bar when it comes to rushers.
He is their best rusher in team history.
Yeah. Apologies to Icky Woods.
Icky will probably get in before him, but the person that he sings, he singled out John Kitna's going to get into that motherfucker before I do.
That was funny.
And then Scott Mitchell. Kitna, I don't know why, that just made me laugh more.
Yeah,
but...
yeah. Scott Mitchell was the actual funny one.
Yeah.
So okay. I can't wait for Keely Smith.
So that was just fascinating, because I was sort of thinking, why is Corey Dillon trending?
Yeah, that's a good question. Every once in a while, like, why is this person trending? And sometimes, like, Luther Vandross was trending yesterday. I was like, oh my God, did he die? I'm like, wait, no, he's been dead for like 17 years, 18 years at this point. Just somebody I haven't thought about in a while. So,
yeah, the things that trend I will never completely understand. And so it's always like every damn day. And I think I've ranted about this before, but every day it's like, shit, this person died. Oh, just somebody posted something. And then I'll just trade it. Like, just goddamn, I hate it. I hate it when that happens. Who do you got if Zuck fights Musk?
Who do I have?
Yeah.
Comet. Like, it doesn't matter. It's one of those things. It doesn't matter who wins as long as somebody loses. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Twitter is a mess. Let's put it that way. It's a mess at the moment.
I don't know. It's like people ask me, like, how come you still use Twitter? Like, it's so full of hate. Not in my Twitterverse, it isn't.
Yeah, well, it's the one thing. Like, we're kind of insulated to our group that we
more or less. Yeah, it's like it's only hate if I choose to participate in it, and I don't. Even the people I strongly dislike, I don't even do it. I don't even do anything anymore.
You know, when I get mad, you know what and when I get mad, you know what I do at Twitter?
What's that?
I close it and walk away.
Nice. But Twitter's actually sort of been really good. It's helped us put together a group that I just want to like say thank you to all those who are a part of it. We've gotten some votes in. It looks like I've got over 30 people, hopefully, who have said that they're going to be part of it. And that's also where we're doing the Pro Football Hall of Fame Revisited project, inspired by Nick Bombach's Rock Hall Revisited project that I were members of. And it was a lot of fun. So we're doing the same thing. So there's currently 6 people who have unanimous right now. I won't say who, but we're vamping it as if the Pro Football Hall of Fame took place in 1946 to see what could possibly transpire and how many people out of a backlog would we get rid of. So
yeah. So this first class, how many are we inducting?
We're gonna do 5. So it's gonna be 5 each.
Okay, so it's gonna be 5 each year. Okay,
yeah, 5 each year.
Yeah. So yeah. So I'll be honest, for those who are wondering, I will put my stuff out every time I vote, so everybody knows who I voted for. But this time, with the old stuff or this far back, in this first one, we have 26 people on our list of 132 who are already Hall of Famers. We're gonna have to vote for 25. I'm not complicating this. I'm voting for the 25 oldest, and the one person who gets left out is Turk Edwards, who, if he were superior, uh,
Mhm.
I would have left him on and picked somebody else. But I just picked the 25 who've technically been on the ballot the longest,
Yeah.
even though it's our first ballot, with the idea that once 5 of them are in, we'll move over to Turk Edwards and Beatty Feathers and a few other people who have been nominated multiple times.
Mhm.
But it seems weird to me. We already have these people in the hall. I'm not overcomplicating the first part. The senior ballot I did a much bigger deep dive on. And in
Mhm.
case I ranked everyone 1 to 10, and in case anyone's wondering, we voted for 3. My 3 were Charles Follis, Henry McDonald, and Pudge Heffelfinger. Were the 3 who I voted for. Where a few others were pretty close: Herman Kirchhoff, Blondie Wallace. I like Blondie Wallace being a bootlegger. That was also exciting. Later in his life. But yeah, so there are some people close, but those are the 3 I voted for this. So
Thanks to Vinny Laspinusa, who put together the senior ballot. He's essentially the one-man committee deciding who goes on that ballot. I trust him completely.
Yeah, at this point, at this far back, yeah, it's hard to argue. I mean, I'm not sure how much you know about Gil Falcon, but I was unfamiliar with him prior
I
to
was not that familiar until it was the names that were sort of brought up. But yeah, that one that hopefully that's going to come out Tuesday. With that, I have to just make sure some people received their ballots. But I gave a deadline of Monday at noon, so we'll see. But everything that we're going to be doing, because you were asking me, like, is this going to be completely am I posting the results? And yes, right down to every ballot, so everyone will know who did what, or not who did what, but I mean, like, how many.
How many? Yeah, we don't need to know each individual's person stuff.
No.
I mean, we don't need to out people in the internet if they're not comfortable with that, but we should at least, everyone should be able to see at least the spread of votes.
Yeah, and that's what we are going to do. And so that'll all be out, and I'll just sort of like always send that off to you for the Excel game.
Yeah, excellent. Because I have Excel spreadsheets that are just waiting for their opportunity to get on this. So,
do we want to go right into those who we lost, or like I know you're just still looking at a few other things.
No, I've got to take care of.
Yeah, taking care of. Okay, and we'll do that, yeah. And then I guess I'll have of my elevator, because I'm just sort of like I've got a few this time.
Okay.
One I think you'll find very interesting. But who did we lose?
Well, starting with the beige mistress and her hatred of Hungarian athletes.
What'd she do?
Attila Abanyi, the Hungarian-born Australian soccer manager and player who played for the Australian national team. I'm still counting that. He was born in Budapest. Passed at the age of 76, scored 25 goals in his 61 appearances for Australia. So, which is pretty good on the international level.
Absolutely.
Also passing away. Hold on 1 second. Gotta make sure everything's opening up here. There it is. Cedric Killings passed away. Football player, defensive tackle in the NFL. Played for the Niners, Browns, Panthers, Vikings, Redskins, and Texans between 2000 and 2007. 4-time NCAA Division II All-American. Passed away at the age of 45 from pancreatic cancer.
Ugh, sounds awful.
Yeah. Also passing away from the world of football. Johnny Cooks, the second overall pick in the 1982 draft from Mississippi State, member of the Super Bowl 25 champion New York Giants, and member of the all-rookie team, passed away at the age of 64. He's also a member of the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame.
Is Brett Favre in that?
Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame? There's a joke there. I decided to let drop. I don't
Oh
know
wow.
why.
Okay, I was just seeing where you were going to go with that.
Yeah, there was, I decided. Yeah. Oh boy.
But we
Um,
bought a wing dedicated to his daughter's volleyball acumen.
True. It's funny because I like was watching because this is what I do in my spare time. I was watching the announcements of various Pro Football Halls of Fame like classes,
Mhm.
and Brett Favre announced um Charles Woodson just a few years ago. And I'm thinking like how different it is now for Brett Favre like 2 years later
Mhm.
than it was at that point. So
Yeah, it'll be a while before he's going to be doing a lot of public appearances, I think.
yeah.
Um,
Anyway. All right, so back to the deaths list. Vince Tobin passed away. Uh, Former head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, but better known his as a defensive coach. He took over for Buddy Ryan with the Chicago Bears
mhm.
as defensive coordinator. Also, as defensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts and the Detroit Lions. He passed away at the age of 79. To say of what? It did not.
Okay.
The thing is out of order. I apologize just doing this a little bit together. Um, there's one more football player I know there's. Here he is, Tom Benyon, three-time Grey Cup champion with the Saskatchewan Roughriders and then the Ottawa Roughriders. Passed away at the age of 81. He was a guard tackle on those teams. From the world of, come on, everything is loading very slowly. Trying to close some of these things here. From, let's just say, from the world, we lost a couple of Nobel laureates who are pretty important. Harry Markowitz came up with portfolio theory. Won a Nobel Prize for economics. Passed away at the age of 95, and passed at the age of 100. John B. Goodenough. Yeah, I guess he was good enough. Who was one of the people who won in chemistry. Basically, the guy who is responsible for development of the lithium ion battery,
Oh, okay.
among other things. So we just had a couple of them die on the same day. So it was one of those things that made was interesting. Oh, another three-time Grey Cup champion, Deron Diedrich, passed away at the age of 44.
Mm.
Won Grey Cups in 05, 09, and 2010. Died of hemoplastic gamma delta T cell lymphoma, which is a long way of saying cancer.
Mm.
But yeah, he passed away. Played for the Chargers and Packers, Redskins, Eskimos, Alouettes, and Tiger Cats. So, also from football, I knew there were more here. Scott Pallur, I never know how to pronounce his name, played for the Cowboys and Saints. Passed away at the age of 64. Played 65 games in the NFL. And it's most shockingly for football, Ryan Mallett,
Yeah.
former Patriots quarterback, big armed guy from Arkansas, drowned at the age of 35. Played with the Pats from 11 to 13, the Texans in 14 and 15, the Ravens from 15 to 17. So, but yeah, there was when he first got to camp, I remember he didn't know how to not throw the ball hard. And he was supposed to throw a 4-yard pattern to, I can't remember who the running back was, and threw it so hard that he bruised the guy's ribs. And the guy was, I can't remember who it was. He was out for like a couple of days because the ball was so hard. And they had to like show him how to throw the ball softly because he had absolutely no idea how to do it. One of probably the biggest arms ever coming out of college. But yeah, 35 is crazy.
Yeah, he had a nice long career as a backup for the most part, but very, very successful in Arkansas.
Yes, very,
That's
very
Arkansas, yeah.
successful.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
very,
you always forget. We always forget these guys are so good in college and just for whatever reason don't make it in the pros.
or sometimes it's just the exact opposite way. You
Or
just,
something.
yeah.
Sometimes it is the opposite. So,
I was just
Gene,
reading about Aeneas Williams, who didn't play football until like he's a walk on at Southern.
Mhm.
But he didn't walk on until he was a junior.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And it worked out okay for him. Um,
Exactly.
um, Penny Ann Early passed away. Two notable firsts in her lifetime. She passed away at the age of 80. She was the first female jockey to be licensed to ride in pari-mutuel horse races. I can't tell you exactly what that means. In protest, the male jockeys unanimously refused to ride in the first three races that she was scheduled to compete in Churchill Downs in Kentucky. And in the midst of this controversy, she signed with the Kentucky Colonels of the ABA to play for the men's team, becoming the first woman ever to play in the men's professional basketball league.
Okay. I didn't.
She's an interesting person.
Yeah.
So she played against the Los Angeles Stars on November 27, 68, wearing a mini skirt and a turtleneck sweater with the number 3 in the back to represent the number of races that people boycotted that she was supposed to run in at Churchill Downs.
So
yeah, so Penny Ann Early passed at 80. She actually committed suicide, believe it or not, at the age of 80.
Man, she must have been
could have been sick, could have been a bunch of stuff. I don't have much more on that, unfortunately. Also lost sprinter Dean Smith, a winner of gold medal in the 4x100 relay at the 1952 Summer Olympics. Probably more famous for being a stuntman, though, in a whole bunch of TV series. So, including The Alamo, How the West Was Won, like basically all those Westerns. He was one of the guys there. He's even in Walker, Texas Ranger. Maverick, Gunsmoke, Have Gun Will Travel. But he was also inducted in 2006 into the Texas Rodeo Cowboy Hall of Fame, as well as the National Multicultural Western Heritage Museum and Hall of Fame, and a member of the Texas Track and Field Coaches Association Hall of Fame, and the Hollywood Stuntman's Hall of Fame. So other than that, he didn't do very much.
I always thought a good movie for Chuck Norris would have been if he played a time traveling Christian.
Okay.
In Walker, Texas Manger.
Wow. Oh boy. Anyway, so this Dean Smith passed at the age of 91.
Yep.
Oh man, I have to move on. The Jimmy Kim, who won the gold medal in Taekwondo at the 1988 Olympics in Seoul, an American winning the Taekwondo medal in South Korea is a pretty big deal. Passed away at the age of 56. One of the great martial arts instructors anywhere. Everyone just traveled all over to get underneath him, and a couple of his folks have gone on to become All-Americans and compete in the Olympics, including Charlotte Craig, who competed in the 2008 Beijing Olympics. But he was only 56.
So one of my under the radar sports to watch at every Olympics.
Taekwondo?
Yeah.
Yeah. You should watch. I'm hoping that both of my my senseis make the Olympics. There's a big competition coming up in a couple weeks. So hopefully they will make it. But yeah, I have a couple of senseis, Cirrus and Skylar Lingle. They're sisters. They're 20.
I think you were talking about them before, I believe.
Yeah, they have a huge competition coming up. Skylar just finished 3rd at the Pan Am Games, and her sister won her division at the Pan Am Games. So hopefully they make the Olympics as time come up. I'll obviously have a rooting interest in that one. So also passing away from basketball, Cecil Exum, probably best known at this point as the father of Dante Exum.
Yeah.
But in his own right, he was a very good basketball player, played for University of North Carolina from 1980 to 1984. Yes, he was a teammate of Michael Jordan's there, but he passed away at the age of 60 after being sick for quite a while. He'd had lung problems and been in intensive care for quite a bit. Speaking of having had some issues and being sick for quite a bit, Darren Adrian Drozdov, better known as Droz, the wrestler, passed away at the age of 54. Do you have anything to say about Droz?
From everything that I've learned about him, because he was in the Attitude Era, for a
Mhm.
couple of years. His first nickname was Puke because allegedly he could puke on command, but every time he tried
Fantastic.
to, he couldn't do it. When they asked him to sort of like do that, no, in actual wrestling, like live wrestling, and then he wasn't able to do it. But he played football for a bit. Like he was on a couple taxi squads. Didn't He didn't really make it beyond sort of like the lower card, but what the sad thing was his career got cut short. So he very well possibly could have. It was on a botched move. Well, I don't know how it was botched because there's no footage of it. So D'Lo Brown picked him up for what's called for running power bomb, and something went wrong, and he was paralyzed. That happened like night from the neck down from '99 on.
Mm.
So I imagine it's sort of like he just probably died from just a lot of the complications of it. But everyone just said what a great guy he was. When he did get hurt, he was in the hospital. He made sure to get a message out to D'Lo, says tell him it's not his fault.
Good for him.
You know, because he didn't want him worrying about that for the rest of his life. D'Lo probably was never the same after that anyway, but because of
Yeah, I mean, you if you don't do something right and someone gets paralyzed, I don't think it matters. I think that you carry that with you.
right, and again, I never saw the footage.
Yeah.
They did because they didn't release it, thank God. Uh, Also, and a nice thing from the WWE, which I don't get to say that often. Apparently, they always took care of him.
That's good to know. Apparently it said that he had a wheelchair that looked like a tank that was created and paid for by his friend Kevin Plank, the founder of Under Armour.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so Draws passed away at the age of 54.
Mhm.
Um, Also passing away from the world of powerlifting, Don Reinholt passed away at the age of 78, won the World Powerlifting Championship in 73, 74, 75, 76, as well as the U.S. Championship in 74, 75, and 76. Also won, finished second in the World's Strongest Man competition in 78 and first in 79. So one of the great powerlifters of the 70s. Um, he passed away in a one vehicle crash
Ah,
in Chautauqua County in New York. So I lost a couple actors I want to bring up. Well, actually, let's do music first. Bobby Osborne of the Osborne Brothers, American bluegrass musician, member of the International Bluegrass Hall of Fame, member of the Grand Ole Opry, and also got a man who received a Purple Heart for what he did after in Korea. Passed away at the age of 81. I'm sorry, 91. I can't do math. 91. Uh, Lee Rauch also passed away, drummer for Metallica. Originally, when Megan, drummer with Megadeth when Dave Mustaine left and for Megadeth. He was the original drummer from the group, but was fired for drinking and drug problems. So I'm sorry, back that up. Rauch took over for Dijon Carruthers, and Carruthers was fired. So he was with them from 1984 for a little while, but he passed away at the age of 58. So his cause of death was unknown, but listed as unexpected.
mm.
Another bluegrass musician, Jesse McReynolds, passed away at the age of 93. Member of the Grand Ole Opry, member of the International Bluegrass Hall of Honor, National Heritage Fellowship Award winner. Yeah, 93 years old. Also passing away, Vicki Anderson, the soul singer, best known for his performances with James Brown, widow of Bobby Bird, mother of Carleen Anderson, but she passed away at the age of 83. Martin Stevens also passed away, two-time Juno Award nominee for best-selling single, with his awards for Love is in the Air and Midnight Music. Do you remember either of those songs?
Nope.
Yeah, Love is in the Air is 79, Midnight Music is 80. Juno Awards are Canadian music industry awards. So he was 69 years old.
Yes, with our latest Canadian Music Hall of Fame inductee, Nickelback.
They never made it as a wise man. So, um, also passing away, Anita Wood, television performer, but most likely known as Elvis Presley's girlfriend, his number one girl. Dated for 5 years, and was working as an actress, but gave it up for Elvis Presley. And then they broke up, and he ended up marrying Johnny Brewer, the former NFL player. Who they were married for 46 years. But she also worked with Andy Williams on a whole bunch of stuff, and she and Andy Williams are the ones singing the duet in the Hawaiian wedding song, which she never actually got credit for. She was uncredited. But if you know Andy Williams at all, you'll recognize her voice. She passed away at the age of 85. Then 3 actors quickly. Julian Sands, probably best known for The Killing Fields, Arachnophobia, Boxing Helena, Ocean's 13, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Leaving Las Vegas, a bunch of movies like that. Passed away at the age of 65. One of those people who, as soon as you see him, like, oh yeah, that guy. That's the best way I can describe him.
Yeah.
Also passing away, Don Kennedy, who is a radio and television personality, but best known to me as the announcer from Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Passed away at the age of 93. I watched a lot of Space Ghost Coast to Coast in college and afterwards. and finally, one of the people who's probably in the lead at this point, and we haven't had a big year for celebrity deaths, Alan Arkin, passed away at the age of 89. He's kind of one of those people who's in everything. I was thinking back of all the movies I've seen him in. And the one that I remember the best, honestly, probably is as the main investigator from Gattaca. If you remember ever seeing Gattaca.
Yeah.
But also, of course, probably his funniest role I watched as a kid, but didn't realize who he was, as Lieutenant Rozanov from The Russians Are Coming, where he received an Academy Award nomination as Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy, which is hard to do. You don't see that very often. But that movie, if you have never seen The Russians Are Coming, just go watch it. It is hilarious. But he passed away at the age of 89.
Catch 22. He would eventually win an award for Little Miss Sunshine.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he
was also nominated for The Heart is a Lonely Hunter. He played Inspector Clouseau in the Inspector Clouseau movie.
I'm trying to forget that. That wasn't good.
Yeah, I know. But it's there. I mean, everything. Dumbo, like The Muppets, Argo. Oh, Argo, he was really good in Argo.
Mm-hmm.
Sunshine Cleaning, Jacob the Liar, Slums of Beverly Hills, Gross Point Blank. Don't forget The Jerky Boys, the movie.
I'm trying to forget Jerky Boys, the movie.
Glengarry Glen Ross, of course. So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Yeah.
The Rocketeer, Edward Scissorhands, like The Last Unicorn, like everything for a very, very long time. So anyway.
Grudge Match, too. Stole a scene from Kevin Hart. That's not easy to do.
That's not easy to do.
Yeah.
That's what you got.
Yeah, no, that's definitely the biggest name of the last 2 weeks. So this brings us to elevator up, elevator down.
Elevator up, elevator down.
That's where I look at the past week or 2 weeks in this case and say who's made a Hall of Fame case and who hasn't. And I looked at the baseball All-Star game or the All-Star picks. Generally, I don't think voters really care much about All-Stars. I know I wouldn't. You probably wouldn't either, but it's an interesting thing to sort of look at who's getting them and who's winning, especially for the ones who are voted on, like who's getting a popularity contest. Like every year or every other year, it seems like it just comes like one city seems to flood everything. And this year it was Texas or with Dallas. Saying that, I think there's one person who might benefit just a little bit more than everyone else. And that's what I've talked about before. And I don't think he's getting into the Baseball Hall of Fame, but his only route is to compile. And this is All-Star number 6, and this is JD Martinez. This year, he also...
The Red Sox had 4 All-Stars, just only one that plays for us.
So That's
Bogarts.
okay. Man, Devers isn't an all-star?
No, it's just Kenley Jansen.
Oh, okay. I think Devers is actually having a pretty good year.
He is having a very good year, but
Yeah.
the
But
Red Sox are the only last place team over 500. So
yeah. But with JD, he also hit a milestone this year. He got to his 300th homer. There's a possibility that he could get to 1,000 ribbies this year. So then he'll be a 300, 1,000 guy. There's only, I believe, 147 who can say that. Now, that's not exactly rarefied air, but it's still pretty good. He's 35. He's now pretty much only doing DH, so his body could hang out a little bit longer. The WAR is under 30. If this was a different generation, Martinez could get a look, but this is his only path is to compile as many things as possible.
And a 6 all-star helps. I don't know how much longer JD's got. So
right. So I mean, for everyone else, I mean, I'm not even going to try to say that their elevator went up at all, because I don't think voters are thinking that way. But for JD, I think that's huge for him. Here's my other elevator up. This one will sound a little weird. I'm going to The Rock because I don't usually have a lot of that, but I'm going with Tracy Chapman.
Okay.
There's a lot.
I'm excited about this. Tell me.
Okay, well, there's a lot more attention on her with, I think it's a shitty cover personally, but Luke Combs went #1 with his cover of Fast Car.
Okay.
Making history as the first time an African-American woman wrote a #1 country hit.
Wow.
So if there's more attention on her and people are seeking out the original, which please do if you haven't.
Yes, please do.
Tracy Chapman, because you never know when more attention's on you out of nowhere. I mean, look what it did for Kate Bush. So is this something where you get a lot of liberal voters? Because I think the Rock all probably are mostly left individuals. There's some people are taking a backlash towards Luke Combs because, well, how was this more successful than hers?
Which but that happens all the time with a bunch of stuff.
Of course it does. Of course it does. And it's kind of, I honestly, I can't figure out how this became a hit. Maybe I should do a show about that sort of thing.
Yeah, if you know anyone who'd be interested, let me know.
Yeah, there you go. But it's the most press she's gotten in years. And I think this could help. I want to touch also quickly on the hockey awards or the NHL awards. Someone who I think is a Hall of Famer already, but does this make him a first ballot to some people? And that's Patrice Bergeron. Frank J. Selke Trophy #6.
Yeah, I mean, they might as well rename the trophy after him at this point.
That's not a terrible idea. It's really not. Would you? Connor McDavid also won his 3rd Hart. Connor McDavid never plays again. Is he a Hockey Hall of Famer?
Yes. Okay. Connor McDavid, like, if you watched any hockey at all this year, and I would like to not thank AT&T for making the NHL Network part of a sports package that I want no part of the other stuff of. In order to do it, I need to get golf, tennis, speed, and something else, as opposed to just give me the damn NHL Network. I will pay extra for the one. I don't need all the rest of the stuff. Rant over. But I did get to watch a lot of Edmonton games, staying up and watching them whenever I had the chance. And that dude is just better than anybody else in the league. Like, he's just better.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to say anything other than he absolutely 100% yes.
Yeah. For the others, I mean, like Erik Karlsson, I think is already going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Now that's Norris Trophy #3.
Can I just talk about the Norris Trophy for a second?
Go ahead. Yeah.
It's for what position?
Defense.
And he's a plus or a minus player?
I believe this year he was a minus player.
So how the hell is this guy? I understand you want an offensive defenseman award. Cool. Go create it.
But I think
defense should. Yeah. Defense should be defense. Just make him a winger.
Well, they didn't know what to do once Bobby Orr changed the whole mold, and that's kind of where this all went. But
Cool.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I mean, I think the only exception to that rule, or the biggest exception, was Rod Langway, because that guy didn't score much.
Yeah, I mean, but Char didn't score much, and he got one.
Well, Chara had more points than Langway did.
Well, that's true.
My
point is, there are people who have done whatever. I just
I get what you're saying.
Like, we have Bergeron's won an award for defensive offensive player.
Mm-hmm.
We need an offensive defensive player.
I completely agree. And Anze Kopitar winning the Lady Byng does nothing.
Yeah, probably not.
Because it's
well, you went through that, right? What does the Lady Byng do for anybody?
Like I said, I'll say it before, I'll say it again. It is the only trophy you wouldn't put on your Tinder profile.
Maybe not.
Yeah. But yeah, he just signed another 2-year extension with the Kings. So I mean, I think that's gonna be going well for him. But yeah, that's no real elevator downs for me.
That's nice for once.
I call it the way I see it. I don't necessarily, it's always more fun to do elevator downs, I'll admit, but if I don't have any, I don't have any.
Yeah, I actually don't have anything to be real angry about this week either.
There we go. That's right. It's because that's your segue to the good, the bad, and the ugly of sports.
So we're not going to do an ugly. I'm taking a week off. I don't really have anything. I don't really have anything that I'm really that thing is that bad. There are a lot of things simmering that could be bad. Mm-hmm. The talk about expanding the NCAA tournament is something to watch for. There's other things about the NCAA realignment. There's some things with transfers over in Europe, which are going to be interesting for soccer. I'm leaving all those alone for right now. I'll start with the bad, and then we'll end up with two goods here.
Okay.
So the first, I guess the only bad here is the NFL is gone into bed with gambling organizations, and they're now suspending players for gambling, not do gambling. If they bet against their own team, I get it. They bet on their own team, I get that as well. But they're now getting people for the geography of where they're gambling and not the actual gambling itself, which is insane to me. A whole bunch of these guys are losing years of their career because instead of betting on the road to the game or to practice, they bet in the parking lot at practice. And that somehow difference makes all the difference in the world. Again, as Patriots fan, this is Spygate all over again, where they filmed from the sidelines is wrong. Had they filmed from the stands, it was fine, right? Mm-hmm. It's the NFL has a history of doing this crap. I don't understand why. What the point of this is.
Especially when gambling is probably I don't know, it's the biggest thing that's going to save the league, but it's a huge part of that will always prop it up. Always, because there's no better sport to gamble on than football. There just isn't.
And I always wonder how anyone can gamble on baseball.
In my case, very poorly.
Yeah, I don't understand how you do that. It's just like so much variations. Like a great player has just one bad day and everything's screwed up. As opposed to football, great player has one bad day. It's unlikely the whole thing's screwed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Whatever pays the bills, right? But yeah, it's the hypocrisy that they have on this and always have had on this has just been disgusting, especially as you cannot watch a sports telecast of any kind, NFL included, without some kind of gambling part of it. Hell, I mean, like even when I was a kid, Jimmy the Greek.
Yeah.
You know, like that was going like way back, but you know, whatever. It's that they're never going to get better at this.
Yeah.
Never.
So that's bad. There's a lawsuit waiting to happen there, I think. Although, as we learned from again the Tom Brady Deflategate situation, NFL could suspend anybody for any reason for as long as they want. That's the one thing we got out of clause 44 of that thing. So maybe they have nothing to go with. But anyway, on the good side from football, I just want to bring up Foster Moreau, the tight end for the Saints, is cancer free.
Yep.
He discovered he had cancer at the end of the season, Hodgkin lymphoma. He's gone through everything, and he's going to be able to go back on the field if that's what he wants to do. Regardless, he gets to live his life. Hey, every once in a while, we just need hey, something's gone well for somebody. So good for Foster Moreau getting through this. So that's that one. And the last one's a little bit personal. So this is follow me on the family tree here. My wife's father's best friend's grandkid. Okay. So when I go to Wisconsin every single year, annual trip I take, these are some of the people who go with me. So one of the people who goes on that trip with me is a girl named Maddie Pacelli. And Maddie is 15, or I think she's 16 this year. She has the same birthday I do. She's just significantly younger. And Maddie is a gymnast. And Maddie's mom unfortunately committed suicide back in January. And she's been out for a while and has just got back into it. She had her first meet again in March. She competed in the States coming up, but she was in Cincinnati a couple weeks ago. The day I went to the day I brought my son to the U.S. Jamaica soccer game. So that would have been Saturday, a week ago Saturday. She's in the U.S. championships in Cincinnati and gold medaled on the beam, on the floor, and all around.
Nice. Congrats.
So coming back from one of the worst things in her life within almost 6 months to turn around and get herself back in there and refocused and be that good. I have no idea what this means for if she ever gets on a U.S. team or anything like that. I don't know enough about gymnastics. I do know she is a girl who goes to the YMCA in Springfield, Illinois, and all the people she's up against have coaches who speak Russian and Chinese, who are like specialized, whatever. She's just a girl at the Y, who has absolutely risen to the top of her sport, which is absolutely incredible to see. I've known this girl since she was 3. And she's always been, when she was like 5, she was jumping up and supporting herself in door frames and climbing the way up. One of those things. But yeah, just super proud of the girl. She's a wonderful person, and I hope nothing but the best for her. She started getting scholarship offers when she was like 12 or 13.
Oh, wow.
For college, if that's what she wants to do.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens next. I don't know enough to know exactly what happens next. I'm sure we'll discuss it when we're up in Wisconsin coming up here, but yeah, just Maddie Pacelli. Good for you, kid.
Women's World Cup is coming up.
Oh yeah.
US versus the field.
Sure. I don't know. We do have Thailand in the first round, I think. I think it's Thailand. We looked it up tonight. So yeah, sure. I'll take the US.
Well, I mean, it's actually still slanting in your favor.
Yeah, in this case, it is slanting in my favor. Listen, there's some pretty good teams. I actually saw who was it? Germany. Can't remember who Germany was playing, but Germany looked pretty good when I saw them. I don't know, 10, 12 days ago.
Yeah,
so they had friendly on TV here.
So it'll be hard to watch, but I watched a lot of the Women's World Cup last time when I was in Barbados, but it just all worked out pretty well.
Do we have a bet for Canada US coming up on Sunday in the Gold Cup?
I didn't even know that was happening.
So in the Gold Cup, the US tied Jamaica and then won their next 2 games 6-0 and 6-0 against.
Well, I thought they already won the Gold Cup.
Oh no, they won. That was Nations League. There's a whole nother thing.
Oh, okay.
But so they beat Trinidad and Tobago, and then St. Kitts and Nevis first, then Trinidad and Tobago. It seems unfair. You have to play 2 places.
I know.
But so we finished top of the group. Jamaica finished second. Canada barely got out of your group. You finished second to Guatemala. Guatemala beat you guys out. Oh, Guadeloupe almost beat you guys out.
No, I'm not going to make this one.
In the quarterfinals, it's U.S. and Canada. for the right to play the winner of Panama and Qatar. Why is Qatar in the North American Championships? Because they invited them is the answer to that. So,
Well,
yeah, it's pretty
you
big.
gotta even it out, right? So don't they do that every time? Don't they have like some random?
Yeah, they do normally have a random. They did Qatar for the last two as part of the wind up for the World Cup sort of thing. Give Qatar competition too, competed. Qatar barely made it out of their group as well. They had to beat Mexico the last day, which they did 1-0 in order to finish second in their group. So yeah, so that's coming up.
Okay. Well,
And then next year, the Euros, European Championship, and Copa America will be in the United States. So it will be an entire continental tournament.
oh,
So it'll be South America, US, Mexico, Canada, and a couple others I think got invited as well.
okay.
So it'll be a real good tournament for the US to actually have to play somebody, no offense to Canada and Mexico, but who's not Canada and Mexico. Like try Argentina, try Chile, try Brazil, Colombia, a different Uruguay, different style of soccer, and see how you turn out. It's good for Canada, good for the US, good for Mexico to play someone who is not the Canada, US, and Mexico. So and Costa Rica. I'll throw Costa Rica in there, though they've been playing like crap. So
All right. So with that, I guess that brings everything to a close. I'm just going to promote all my other stuff because that's what I do. This crap was on national television, which could have been the last show. I don't know because Chris Bournet is a tad busier than he used to be. But that's up on our YouTube channel, which was a look at "Hit Me Baby One More Time," the UK version, featuring a lot of Tiffany.
okay.
Mm-hmm. The classic sports review is back. Glenn Pulowski and I, and that's up on the channel now. The last final WHA hockey game.
Okay.
So that was a lot of fun to sort of look at. 70s were certainly different.
Mm.
So I thought it was pretty exciting because I thought it was going to be Gretzky versus Hull, but Hull didn't play.
Okay.
So oh well. C'est la vie. I still enjoyed watching that a lot. Our next show for How the Hell Was This a Hit? We're going to be looking at crap. I'm the one who picked it, and I just forgot what it was. Well, we just did the safety dance, Men Without Hats.
Oh, I remember. If you're wondering, we can leave our friends behind.
Yes, but no, the one that's coming up is Stacy Q, Two of Hearts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here's a trivia question for you. Can you name the other hit by Men Without Hats that keeps him from being a one-hit wonder?
Pop Goes the World.
Pop Goes the World.
Yeah.
Good. I'm impressed.
I'm a Canadian. Yeah, actually, I think that song actually did very well up here.
Yeah, I had a new wave hits album at one point when I was like first getting music, collecting CDs, and the CD opens with "Here's Pop Goes the World" by Men Without Hats. There's some little girl saying that. So, yeah.
Yeah, so we did a deep dive into that one. I didn't really. That's Safety Dances. You know what that song is actually about?
Safe sex.
No, it's not. It's actually about about people being told no, that you can't dance doing pogoing, like a precursor to slam dancing. So this song is basically a fuck you to bouncers in Montreal. That's what that song's about.
If there's a group who needs to be a big fuck you, it's Montreal Bouncers, let me tell you.
Yeah, they're actually playing Winnipeg. Glass Tiger, the Spoons, and a Flock of Seagulls.
Mm.
I hate Glass Tiger.
I ran so far away. Yeah. Anyway.
So there's that. Super Bowl VI. We did a look on the Retro Football Show with Paul Lawrence and myself. That'll be coming up soon, and I need a Dolphins fan to help us with Super Bowl VII. We're looking for a guest for that, but I'm sure.
Have you tried Hootie?
Hootie? Isn't Hootie and the Blowfish?
Yeah, the Dolphins make him cry. No? Okay.
That was great.
Biggest Dolphins fan I know. So
And also the other show that we do, Vinny makes the Hall of Fame case for. The last one was Pudge Hepfelfinger.
Yeah, who I voted for.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, he also does one on Charles Follis that you can check out. So if you want to know,
I also voted for.
Hey, no, that's if a lot of you were wondering who those two are, Vinny makes that Hall of Fame case for it, and he does a great job as always. He just did the last one. Oh, sorry, no, the last one that'll go up. That's not up yet. He did it for Don Cherry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we had a lot of fun with that one, and we played the clip that essentially got him fired. Well, not essentially, it got him fired.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a bit of an interesting sort of look at that, and just when talking to other people about that. Yeah, the tide has really turned on Don Cherry. I don't think he's getting in any point in his life or his death, frankly. Oh well. Well, so with that, wherever you all are, wherever you may be, stay safe, everybody.
Take care.